Good morning to you. A prosecutor says a man accused of partner abuse in West Yellowstone needs to stay in jail. Coming up, find out why.
Good dog, good owner. What one nonprofit is doing in a very unique way to spread that message.
That story for you in just a moment. It's a good one.
Sit,
Cody. Good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy. Coming up on 6:30 here on your Friday morning, I'm Missy O'Malley with Chet Lehman. And Matt Elwell is off today. He's going to be doing weather for us this weekend. So Chet's doing weather for us today.
And I'm going to reward both dog owners and the dogs because it's a lovely day to get out, take them to the dog park or go for a little hike on some trails. So we're talking about a really warm kind of day. You can see cloud cover will be a part of what we're talking about. One note coming up this weekend, I'm going to throw the graphic up right now. Right now, National Weather Service has a high wind watch in effect starting 11 o'clock Saturday night, running through 11 o'clock Monday morning for that I-90 corridor out towards Big Timber and then Big Timber up through the gap towards Harlowton that way. Could see some gusty crosswinds. We'll continue to monitor online on air to see if they upgrade that to a warning, just to continue to stay with us. Get the Storm Tracker weather app, for goodness sake. Temperatures right now in the 20s and 30s for the most part, unless you're in Livingston. It's 49 degrees and 14 miles an hour. West Yellowstone right now it's 16 degrees. It's 18 miles an hour and 45 in Big Timber. We'll give you all the numbers and we'll take a look at that weekend, Missy, coming up in 10 minutes.
And brisk in West Yellowstone. Thank you for that, Chet. And that's where our top story is for you now. A West Yellowstone man is in custody after police say he threatened to kill a woman that he was living with. He could face up to 5 years in prison if convicted and more jail time after being accused of taking away her cell phone. Now, according to court documents, it all started with an argument. West Yellowstone police say Flying Horse, that's him, threw a can at the victim, hitting her in the face. Police also say at one point he held 2 knives and threatened to kill her. Now, in court, prosecutor says Flying Horse has a criminal history, including 2 domestic violence convictions, 3 DUIs, and other crimes, ranging from theft to escaping custody.
Given the criminal history and also the allegations contained in the ABC, there is serious concern for safety to the victim. It appears that she had suffered some pretty substantial injuries.
Now, the judge set Flying Horse's bond at $50,000. And heads up for snowmobilers and those of us who like to take advantage of the state's groomed trails. Fees for some of those trail passes are going up. For the 2019-2020 season, Montana residents can get a snowmobile trail pass for $20 for 2 good reasons. Out-of-state visitors will need a non-resident temporary permit at $35, and that's up from $25 last season. And all the revenue from those passes goes to the snowmobile program and upkeep for those trails. And MTN's chief political reporter Mike Dennison stopped in Butte yesterday to discuss his new book about reporting on Montana politics. Dennison was the guest speaker at the Butte Public Archives Brown Bag Lunch Lecture. He talked about his book, Inside Montana Politics, and he talked about his career covering Montana politics, and he answered questions. Dennison also suggested the state's upcoming gubernatorial race will likely be influenced by the Trump impeachment hearings.
Republicans right now are thinking that Trump is a boost to them because he's popular in the state. Democrats are thinking, with impeachment and a lot of other things going on, that may not be the case by the time the election rolls around next year, but it is going to be one of the biggest factors in the race.
Dennison's book, Inside Montana Politics, is on sale now. And Bozeman trails and parks are used by everyone, including our four-legged family members. And now a nonprofit group is rewarding good behavior. MTN's Cody Boyer has more on how the Good Dog Owners programs hopes to put an end to bad dog owners.
It's a little gesture of appreciation.
A little pat on the back goes a long way, whether you are big and fluffy or small but mighty. For a nonprofit with a name like Run Dog Run, Executive Director Terry Cunningham says it's time good walking manners get recognized.
We want to have positive reinforcement of good behaviors in our parks and trails and neighborhoods, and that means if your dog is on a leash where it's supposed to be, and if you're picking up after your pet, you should be rewarded.
That's why Cunningham spent a part of his day doing just that with $5 gift cards. If you're walking your pooch right, though.
We are seeing behaviors where people are not having their dogs on leash and they're not picking up after their pets, and that impacts other Bozeman trail users and park users. As
part of this project hopes to emphasize rules of being able to walk your dog appropriately on the trails. Having a leash, which Barley here knows is just as important,
That's part of the plan.
We have the resources. We have the pet waste bags at parks and trails. We have lend-a-leash kiosks, and there's really no excuse for irresponsible dog behavior.
Run Dog Run, alongside the Gallatin Valley Land Trust and Bridger Animal Nutrition, will be watching for good behavior for the next 3 months, 90 days of gift cards, hoping to make the trails a more fun place to be, one good dog at a time.
Everybody likes getting a pat on the back. Everyone likes being recognized.
In Bozeman, Cody Boyer, MTN News.
Well said, EJ. Now, each of those cards is worth $5 at either DOG in town or with Bridger Animal Nutrition, both great places. And with deer season here again, could an inexpensive device keep you from staying out of the body shop? Consumer investigator Kat Reed finds out.
Broken headlights and busted bumpers. These are just a few examples of the aftermath when cars collide with deer.
For whatever reason, this one, it's a deer magnet.
Alan Herford, who owns Joco Auto Repair, is talking about his wife's van.
We're dealing with our second time around of repairing the front end on this one because of a little impact with a deer.
Hearing how much the damage cost is enough to make anyone freeze up like a deer in headlights.
I would guess somewhere between $6,000 to $7,000 worth of damage to it. Yeah, and the deer walked away.
But what if there was a way for the deer to stay off the road in the first place? A simple, inexpensive device that promises to reduce accidents.
You can buy deer whistles for less than $10 online or in an auto repair shop, and they're pretty easy to put on. You just remove the adhesive from the back, wipe off your grill, and you can just pop it right there. So they're easy to put on, but it's a lot harder to tell if they actually work.
Some people swear by them, and other people swear that they're just a waste of money.
Time to bring in the academics. Our Scripps station in Cincinnati interviewed an animal audiologist who worked on this 2003 study. Researchers tested 6 different whistles, finding deer can hear them, but likely too late.
The amount of road that the car is covering per second, by the time the signal actually would have reached the deer, the car would have been close enough probably to strike the deer.
A 2007 study from the University of Georgia found deer whistles are likely not effective in altering deer behavior along roadways to prevent collisions. But with a price point under $10, some drivers think having the whistles can't hurt.
At this point, with the amount of money I've put into it, I'm thinking maybe a couple of deer whistles might be a good idea. We'll see.
I mean, my thought is, how could it hurt to just try it?
That's true. That's it. I still think awareness is probably the best thing that you can do, but sometimes it's.
I think Dr. Peters said it best. The amount of coverage that the area that your car is moving that quickly by the time it gets close enough for the deer.
Correct.
I don't know. I feel like it can't hurt.
I would think they can hear the car. That was always my question about that. They hear the whistle, but don't they hear the car? Don't they hear the semi?
You'd think.
I don't know. Never been a deer.
Yeah,
and I stay out of the road, so I don't know.
Good for you. Yeah, good for you. See, Chet?
Did you hear it?
People got to give you a little bit more credit.
Thank you.
6 coming up on 6:38. We do have to take a quick break here on your Friday morning. When Montana This Morning returns, we have all the details for you about a school shooting in California, leaving 2 dead yesterday, several wounded. But first, we're going to take a look ahead to an investigation story we've been following.
The latest report cards for Montana schools do not look good.
They show low scores all around, including an F for student growth.
There's a problem. We're not going to shuffle this one under the bed.
But do these standardized tests really reflect what our kids are learning?
We're putting them in one standard box.
Andrea Lutz talks to the state's top teacher in search of answers.
You're going to give a letter grade. What would it be?
MTN investigates Making the Grade, Tuesday at 10.